morning. It's Miss Val, and I'm glad you're here. Today we have a couple of new crafts, one for the littles and another for the bigs, and we're going to start with the little ones today. But I wanted to show you, since our craft from last week has dried, this is what our box turned out to look like. So the shell, our little finial on top, is dry, and as you can see, it fits right there, and that's just a pretty cool little keepsake box, and I think anyone would enjoy getting that for a gift. And thank you to Alyssa Wade, who's here again today helping me. And today we're going to make some spinners, and the supplies you will need are a piece of cardboard and some paper and some kind of round template. I use this can top to cut out my circle, a ruler if you decide to go geometric, a pencil, some scissors, glue, and this is some waxed string that we'll use to make our spinner spin when we're finished. So the first thing, I have this wonderful paper that Trollinger's gave me. So on one side, I've already made a circle, and I just made that polka dots. And so I'm going to cut that out. And you know, a lot of people are kind of intimidated when it comes to cutting, and I try to show the kids, you're in charge of the speed that you go, and just like anything else, drawing or painting or cutting, if you feel like you're getting out of control, just make yourself stop and just kind of regroup. But I usually keep my scissors in the same spot, and with my other hand I use that to turn whatever I am cutting, so your scissors aren't all over the place and your arms aren't having to change positions, and to me it just makes it a lot easier. So try to remember that. Just keep your cutting hand kind of stationary, and your other, use that to turn as you're cutting. So this is the first piece that I cut out, and I just used watercolor markers and just made polka dots because I like polka dots. And I've got this glue stick, and I'm going to put the glue on the cardboard. So just real liberally put the glue all over it. And all of these glues dry. This is white, but a lot of them are purple, but they all dry clear. So I'm going to try to center this on my circle. And if you use the same template to cut your cardboard and whatever you're coloring to put on your spinner, it should be about the same size. So if you get one edge right, the other should look pretty close. So here's the cardboard, and there's that. But we're going to decorate this second piece. So I think I may use my ruler. This is a 4-inch circle, so I'm going to kind of eyeball the center and start with fourths. And the geometric ones are pretty cool to look at when they're spinning, and I don't know if I want to take the time to put a whole lot of detail in that, but I may just take a Sharpie so you can see it a little better. And once you've drawn it off in pencil, then you can bring those lines out with a Sharpie. So you have 8 pieces. So we're going to, you could go black and white, you could do Zentangle, and I may do just colors on the color wheel. I may start out with, let's start out with a yellow. And as these spin and as they kind of blur together, these colors, those of you that have had art with me, if you have yellow, and I'll do blue beside it. And what does yellow and blue make? Do you want to answer that?
No, I'm good.
If you mix yellow and blue together, you get green. Okay? And then on the other side, your primary colors are yellow, blue, and red. So, if I take red on the other side of the yellow, and red and yellow make hint. Orange. Very good. So I'm just going to alternate with these colors. So I'll do a yellow on the other side of the blue. And I love these watercolor brushes. They're just pretty awesome. There we go. So there's that. So we're going to do our reds across from each other and our blues across from each other. Yeah, I like these a lot better than just regular markers. And we got these. I got these to use for the our junior duck stamp, and just worked out really nice. So we have red, yellow, blue, yellow, red, blue, and blue and yellow. So I think that will be pretty cool as it spins around. So we're going to take our spinner, and then we're going to glue this side. So that's all glued, and make sure you don't have to, if you wanted, you could draw or just use your Sharpie or marker right on the cardboard. But honestly, when I did this, it was just the cardboard, and it needed a little more heft to it. It just wasn't weighty enough to spin really well. But so on this side, we just have kind of our, everything's divided into eighths. And then on this side, we have some polka dots. And I may add just some black dots to fill in a little bit. But you can be creative. You can do it solid colors. You can do solid colors and polka dots. You could do stripes. That would be pretty cool, spinning. in all honesty, probably the dots are going to be, I mean, it's all going to be a blur, but it's just whatever effect you want. So just experiment with it and see what you come up with. I think anything that you do would work out very nicely. So this is a nice little stem color project, and I think you'll enjoy it. And once again, to me, the most important thing about you doing these things at home is to find something fun that lets you be creative and hopefully be able to use things that you already have at your own home. I try to do things. I really don't want you to have to get out, and I don't want you to have to spend any money. So, that's the main thing for me, and I just want you to have fun and learn something new. Maybe try it as a family. So, honestly, when you put the black in it, it does make it stand out a little better. So that's this phase of our spinner. And I don't know what tools you have. You do not need, you need to drill 2 holes in this. You don't need them to be large, because if you do, your string is just going to flop around. So I'm going to take this but you want your holes to be very close together. As close to the center as you can get it without touching each other. And if you use a needle or whatever you have, you need to let your mom or dad or grandparent, somebody do this other than yourself, because I think the cutting, most of you cut in here, use scissors. I think that would be fine, but as far as using something pointy like this, it's not a good idea for you to do. So have mom or dad or grandmama or granddaddy or your older siblings, have them do that for you. So this is waxed thread, and I'm going to put it through one of the holes. It's very small, and it just fits that. And I'm going to pull it through there and put this one in the other hole. And I would do it coming back through, but it's kind of where I poked it. And I may have to. And just kind of poke it the other way so the paper that's on this side. But I really don't want to make the hole any larger than I absolutely have to get this thread through. And I honestly did not expect this to be the most difficult part of this. But it's going. I could just jab it right through, but I just don't want to make the hole very big because I want it to spin. So it may take a little working, but we're not in a race. We've got the time. All right. So it is through, and I'm going to tie this end in a knot. Now, okay, so this other, I'm gonna pull, but again, try not to just, try not to be too rough with it and get it to, we don't want to make the holes any larger. Okay, so what you do is you hold it like this, and we're going to spin it. And gluing the paper on it, it did add some weight to it. That with the glue. So what you're doing, you're spinning, you're holding, and this is not it. So don't be like, well, I'm not doing that because that's stupid. Okay, so we're still tightening up the thread, and now we're going to pull it. And then spin it, spin it, spin it, spin it. So you can see, I think you saw on the side where it had the color, so we're gonna do it on the polka dot side. So it's more of a blur, but the geometric side did better. And I think, I mean, we don't have to have that much string, but you just need even sides. So I think that's kind of cool. See? It looks kind of neat. And then it'll wind up. But just play with it. Yours will probably turn out better than mine. But I think the heavier the cardboard is, the better it will do. And it'll kind of wind up again. And you can do it again. But that's our spinner. And I do hope that you try to make this. We did this in one of my classes, but we used yarn. And it didn't recommend that you use yarn, but I thought they did fine. So I used this string, and I honestly can't tell any difference between them. So just whatever you have at home. But I hope you enjoyed this, and this is what our spinner ended up looking like. And with very few supplies, and I think it could just be a fun activity for you. And I hope you have a great week, and I love you. We all love you, and just be safe, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much. Y'all be careful.